Hey, JB here. Have you ever had a stack of books you need to get through? Or how about a difficult book that you need to get through? Well, today we are going to go over a tip that I use to get through challenging books. And we're going to start with the book that I'm reading right now, which is actually a series of books, the Mazatlan Book of the Fallen. So how do you do this? What do you got to do to get through books? Well, as you know, I do some speed reading, and I've discussed that here on the channel. And I've discussed how, getting rid of subvocalization will allow you to read faster. But today I'm going to go against that a little bit. And I'm going to talk about a technique that I'm using to read the Mazatlan Books of the Fallen in that series. If you don't know that series, by the way, basically it's about 3 million words or 11,000 pages, and it's one of the biggest epic fantasy novels ever written. And it's just something I'm doing for enjoyment. But the techniques I'm going to show you today, you can do not only for enjoyment, but also for school and other things to get through books. So what I'm going to be using today is my Kobo Libra. I'm using the Kobo Libra 2. And I'm using my iPhone because in combination, I'm going to use both of these. So basically what I'm doing is I'm on chapter 13 here in my Kobo Libra, and you can see that here. And what I do then is basically go to the chapter and then I buy the audiobook. So yes, this costs you a little bit more money, but it really works. And I go to the audiobook, and as you can see here, I just start it and you can actually hear it. And basically what I do is I've got it set right now on, let me double check, 1.7 speed, okay? So I'm going to read at the same time that I'm listening to the book. I'm going to go ahead and pause this. So what's happening is, as I'm reading, I have the book set at 1.7 times speed. And so as I'm reading, I'm getting more comprehension and I'm hearing it as it's coming. So as you know, as I teach speed reading, one of the things I say is subvocalization is bad. Like we can read the whole page real quickly. And yes, there are times to speed read, and I can speed read books and get through them really quick. But when I really want to savor something, when I really want to enjoy like a deep book, like this epic fantasy series, then what I'll do is I'll do this technique where I'll get my audibles out and I'll get the audiobook, and then I go anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times speed. As we increase the speed, as you can hear, you can hear it pretty good at 1.7 speed. As you get up to 2 times, it gets a little chipmunky.
As soon as the guild assassin left the room, Galan drained the last of his beer, paid up, and descended the staircase.
But you can still handle it. So anywhere between 1.5 to 2 times speed is really the mark of utilizing this technique. Now, I will tell you, the key here is why we're doing this technique is to really comprehend it. And what it's going to force you to do is focus. So if you use your headphones and you're in bed and you're sitting there, and the good thing about these electronic devices is you click them, you just click the button on the side instead of swiping. That's why I like the Kobo Libra 2, and this particular device is because I can just click those buttons instead of swiping. And so I'm just clicking. And it is really a form of speed reading because I'm letting the subvocalization happen by a narrator. But I'm telling you what happens is it's almost like I'm watching a movie. And I'm really enjoying this because I worked hard this summer to get through these books this summer, and I just couldn't get into them. They're really challenging. They're very dense, and there's a lot of characters and a lot of stories and a lot of things going on, and you can get lost really easy. And so by listening to the audiobook and by using this technique of just flipping it with my finger, what's happening is that it's making me focus even more. And that focus is drawing me into the writing, which is allowing me to really get the book and to comprehend it, as well as read it at the same time. So if you've got a stack of books and there's things that you need to get through, I do this for nonfiction. I do this for a lot of different books. I will buy the audiobook and then I'll buy the book. And I'll put it on 1.5 to 2 times speed, and I'll sit down in 3 to 4 hours. I've just cranked through a book. This is actually like 24 hours. So when I put it at 1.5 speed, it brings it down to about 14 hours per book. It's like I said, this is a very intense series. But if you got most self-help books, like mine here is, this is 60,000 words. My audiobook, I believe, is 6.5 to 7 hours. So if you go at 2 times speed, you've cut it down to 3 hours. So 3 hour settings, at night or whatever, you're able to read this book in 3 hours. And it's just a really great way to comprehend it and get the information if you're trying to get through a stack of books that you got on your desk. For me, I find a total enjoyment in it. And it really is working for me, and hopefully that's going to help you as you try it. Again, the only negative about it is you have to buy the book, the ebook, and the Audible. But if you have Audibles, you have the Audible credit. And down below, I'll put a link. If you're not an Audible member, you can join. I think a lot of people are that watch this channel, and so you just use your credit for the month with whatever books you're trying to get through. I'm going through really almost about 3 books a week right now, and this fantasy series. Typically what I do is I listen to one nonfiction, I try to read one, and then I try to read my fantasy. And what the fantasy does is it keeps my reading speed up, even though I'm using this technique with this book. And we'll get into that more. If you like that type of conversation, please let me know down below. And if you like what we're doing here, hit a like, because it really helps our algorithm as we're building this channel. And of course, a comment would be great, because it is a community. That's what we're building here. So again, what are we using? We're using the Audible book or an audio book and the book itself, and reading at the same time at 1.5 to 2 times speed to really comprehend the book and get through those really difficult books. Okay? Love to hear from you down below. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And hey, we'll see you in the next video. Go have a fantastic day.